All right, everyone. For those of you who have been, I don't know, living under a rock and may not know, this talented person to the right of me has been a Golden Globe and Emmy nominated. Um, Fargo celebrating 10 years this year.
I
That's
know.
crazy.
Yes.
Uh, Seen in Emergence and right now in St. Denis Medical. Everybody, Allison Tolman, thank you so much for
Hi.
joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So I got I'll tell on you just a tiny little bit. You were saying you said you were doing karaoke last night. What's your go-to?
I love a song that like everyone's gonna get excited when it plays and everyone knows. So I like Proud Mary, some Tina Turner, always good. I think you go
Oh yeah.
old and classic. That's I have to remind myself that like the goal at karaoke is not for me to find a song that's in my perfect range, but to find a song that people are gonna be like, no way when it starts. So
Yep.
and then everyone wants to sing too.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. I've got a buddy of mine that his favorite thing is to almost do that, but to pick something that everybody wants to sing but can't. So he'll pick like 1 week from Bare Naked Ladies or something like that because
Yeah.
everybody's like, oh yeah, I love that song, and then they'll try to sing it and then they can't remember half the lyrics.
Yes. Yes. And then you get to be a star. You also get the moment of joy, but you also get to be a star who's the only one who knows all the
Right.
lyrics to hook, which is good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, and congratulations on St. Denis Medical getting season 2.
Thank
That's
you.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Um yeah, so the what is that feeling like when I mean, was everybody pretty sure that it was going to get a second season? Like what was the buzz?
I mean, we were as sure as you can be, but I have felt sure about other shows that have only had one season. So this I guess the difference here was that we were correct. But also like now that I've seen what it is like to have a show where the network is really behind you and really like rooting for you, I'm like, I don't think I'll ever mistake it again. You know what I mean?
Right.
But it's hard because whenever you're doing a show that they're about to cancel, they're shaking your hand on a Tuesday and being like, "Oh, we just love it. You're so great," and then
Right.
they cancel you a couple days later. So it's always like it's hard to gauge. But this was really it was really special. We were like I said, we were as sure as you can be, but you just never really know. And the climate in the entertainment industry has been so off and so bizarre since COVID that I just
Yeah.
don't take anything for granted. Like you just never know anything.
Yeah. It is crazy how many things were just, well, devastated for one thing, but
Yeah.
affected, just everything was affected. So many things were devastated. Um, there was something that I saw an article about yesterday that I'll kind of touch on and get your thoughts on because my reaction was quite visceral, and I would expect that yours probably is too. But so like for anybody again living under a rock, the how did Fargo happen? What was the process for that for you?
So Fargo was really like a bolt of lightning. I was living in Chicago and I had an agent. I had started my career in Dallas and then moved to Chicago to study at Second City. So I had come out of the training center at Second City. I was doing some sketch writing and some improv with my own group, and I had gotten an agent in Chicago so that I could audition for commercials and things like that because I did quite a bit of commercial work when I lived in Dallas. And I was trying to get my feet underneath me in the theater scene. It was hard because Chicago is like much more sort of well established than Dallas, and so it's hard to get my foot through the door. And I think maybe twice before I had auditioned for a pilot for my agent, um, and just had been like, well, this is a good experience. I'm getting to see a different casting director I don't usually see because they only do television, they don't do commercials.
Yeah.
But I really had not had a lot of luck yet in Chicago. I had booked one voiceover gig, which forced me into the union because Texas is right to work state. So I had all of my hours, and then the
Oh
first job
yeah.
I got in Illinois, I had to find the money for my dues, my membership fees. Anyway, but so Fargo was just another audition that I got through my agent that they were kind of like, put yourself on tape for this thing. And I was like, sure. I didn't say no to anything. And the beginning of my career, one of my main tenets was like, don't say no to stuff. If you can say yes to it, say yes to everything. So I said yes to every audition, every staged reading, every favor I could do. So yeah, I put myself on tape for it. Just forgot about it, like sent it out into the ether like you do auditions when you're an actor. And like 3 weeks later, my agent was like, your tape is still in circulation. And I was like, what does that mean? They were like, well, you're still in consideration. And I was like, oh, that's cool. So cool. Like, I thought I was going to, have another casting agent in town who knew who I was. And that was going to be as far as that went. And then like 3 weeks later, he was like, your tape is still in circulation. And I was like, okay. And then a week later, they called me to New York to do a screen test. I tested it on a Saturday, I think, and got the job on a Thursday. Wow. And was a complete accident. Like, I never set out to be a television star. I just wanted to have enough weeks to get like health insurance and be a good union member, and then just like stay in Chicago and make stuff with my friends. Like, that's what I thought I was gonna do. So
that's cool.
That is not what happened. I got Fargo, and my whole life like went flippy doodle,
Yeah. So. Yeah. No, that's awesome. But taking a step back into like, how did you get into like Second City?
So I have done improv forever. I did it in high school. I did it in college. I did it professionally in Dallas. It's like a really useful tool. It's fun, but it's also a really useful tool for commercial actors. They always want to hire someone who's got some improv experience. Yeah. Because you can take their scripts and make them better. Right. And they don't have to pay you for it. Which is great. Yeah. So I was on a children's theater tour. My cat is yelling, "You're fine. You're fine." Yeah. Come say hello. I was on a children's theater tour right after college, and I went through Chicago for the first time and had like a visceral reaction to the city and was like, this is my city. Like, this is where I'm supposed to be, Yeah. So I could have started boning up on Chicago, and that included Second City. And I was like, oh, I can go and like study at the best place to study like sketch comedy, Yeah. The city for comedy, for improv and sketch, And so I spent several years in Dallas. I ran a theater company there with friends. And like I said, I did a lot of commercial work. And then just before I turned 30, I was like, I think it's time, like if I'm going to go choose a different market size, now is the time. And I had always known that I would eventually go to Chicago because I just had more interest in it than New York. And I had no interest in Los Angeles, which is where I live now. Surprise.
Right.
So I just did it. I just went and did it. And I went through the conservatory program, which is like the training program there. So I auditioned to get into it, and studied with them for about a year and a half.
That's cool. Yeah. So what's it like being in it? Like when you go into the place and because so many like Bill Murray and so many. I mean the list is just enormous. Yeah. Does that enter in your mind as you're doing some of these things? Like, does it loom large over all of it?
In Second City, absolutely. Like in the building itself and the bar across the street that everyone goes to. And I mean, it is part of lore, and they feel like hallowed halls in that way, Yeah. And especially when you're through classes and you get to perform on these stages, you're like, who's performed on these stages, and who they're named after, and these legends who were there before you. So yeah, that's definitely, it's part of the culture there, and it makes it really, it makes it really special.
That's cool. Yeah, I've always wanted to go to something at Second City, and I've always been kind of curious, like the vibe and everything. So that's really that's awesome.
Cool. I mean, if you're ever in Chicago, I say go see a main stage show if you can. They're a riot.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm from Iowa, so it's not too. It's like we do a lot of driving anyway, so like 6 hours is not that big of a deal. Yeah. But that's so cool. I love it. So what is I mean, I've seen in other interviews and things you're kind of a theater kid starting out. Is that how you kind of got the acting bug initially?
Like, I was an actor, I was a performer so young that there's, like,
Yeah.
kind of no line between it was, like, I think eventually my parents just were like, I mean, I guess we put her in a day camp at, like, 5 or something. They were like, obviously, this kid is, like,
Yeah.
wants to perform. She wants the attention. She loves an audience, you know? And
Yep.
so they put me in, like, yeah, like a summer camp thing where we, like, recited nursery rhymes and did, you know, theater games and stuff like that when I was really young.
Yeah.
Um, but I know so young, there was never a discussion of like, mom and dad. I do remember being like, I want to be an actor, like I want to be a real actor when I was like probably 11 or 12,
Yeah.
and them being like, that's cool, but we both work and so we can't be stage parents. Like we can't go get you an agent. Like we can't,
Right.
it's just not on the table in our family.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that really stung, but I don't remember.
Aw.
I'm sure I was like, but my future, you know.
Right? Yeah. Oh my
Yeah.
god. So okay, so when do you think is the first time that what's the earliest memory you have, and then what's the earliest memory maybe your parents have of you doing something acty, like just either around the house or
It's funny, like, I remember the first time I was on stage, like, that was for that day camp thing that I did. Like, I
okay.
remember reciting the little girl with the little curl right in the middle of her forehead. I remember reciting nursery rhymes, you know, when I was probably 5 or 6. Maybe younger, who knows? But I do
Yeah.
remember that. But my mom would say that she can remember I talked really early, you know, but she can remember that before I even was talking, that she would that I would like make sounds at the cat. I would like imitate the cat's sounds. And she was like,
That's
she was like, uh-oh. And then like, and then her other story is that she like turned her back on me in the bath, and the bath had like a big mirror next to it, and they're at our house in England probably. And when she turned back around, I was going like at myself in the mirror,
that's
making
awesome.
faces at myself in the mirror, and she was like, "Oh God."
That's amazing. I
She
love
was like,
that.
"We're gonna have to pay for this kid's health insurance for a long time because she's not gonna get a real job."
Uh, it means you're either gonna go into acting or you're gonna be like a furry or something. I don't know. So it's
Yes,
one of
or a
those.
psychopath of some kind. Which
One of yes.
there's a lot of crossover.
Why?
So
Why choose just the entire? Uh, I had to ask you about that because, like, first time I was ever on a stage, my dad had bands forever, and the first time I
mm,
was ever on stage, I was 11 months old.
yeah.
And they had he did like his band did an Elvis act at the end of the night, and they had like they made me a tiny jumpsuit with diaper straps on the things, and they took pictures thinking that they were going to like use it as like embarrassment material when I brought a girl home as a teenager or something like that. I don't know. It was meant to be a one-time thing, and they could not keep me. They used to pay me to stay off stage, and then when I was 2, that stopped working. So they would play a record, I would mind the record, and then at 3, I started singing, and so I'd say
That's crazy.
yeah,
But you came from a performer family too, like, so which is
that's
a
helps.
door in. My parents were just like, like, what do we, you know?
Yeah, they're like, you're
So
on your own, kid. Well, like,
they were like,
moral
what do we do with
support,
this? Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah,
And they have been so supportive. But yeah, my dad is quite reserved and like quietly funny. My mom is not reserved at all and is like the leader of any group that she's in.
right.
And she can sing. She's now in a rock band.
That's
But
cool.
yes, it is very cool. But at the time, like, you know, they were just like, they had no experience with a kid who wanted to perform and no performance experience really themselves. So they were like, we don't know where
Right.
you got it from. It's my mom's side. We have like a couple of vaudeville actors on that side. So it skipped a few
Ooh.
generations and got to me is what happened.
That's all right. Hey, that's all
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
So you know, so what was there a single thing that prompted the move to Los Angeles? Because you said it wasn't something you expected.
Fargo.
Yeah.
When I was shooting Fargo, I was like, this is such a crazy experience. I'm having fun. And then when it started airing, actually before it started airing, I was at a dinner one night with producers, and one of them raised their glass and said, "I'm just going to say it. Here's to the Emmys next year." And I was like, "What?" I was like, "What do you mean?" Because it was my first TV show. Like, I didn't know. Like,
Right.
I knew we were making something good, but I didn't know we were making something that was. Now I know, like, oh, we're making a prestige television show, or like we're making a sitcom that everyone can enjoy. Like
Right.
there's just ahead of time. I didn't know. I had no idea.
Right. Yeah, there's no frame of reference because
Yeah,
yeah.
but I can remember, like, when that happened, I was like, "Oh, this show might be a hit, like, a hit. People might really watch this show." And I also can remember thinking, I I could work for any of these people. Like, if not, I was like, if I had to quit acting, I still now know enough people in the
Yep.
industry
Mhm.
that I could be an assistant. I could, there's a lot of options. I could be in the
Right.
entertainment industry. And at the time I'd been working in IT for years. I was doing customer service. When I got the job, I was like a post manager at a photography studio. And so I was like, I should probably consider not like leaving and going to Los Angeles and like continuing this, whether it's acting or not. Um, so I was in Los Angeles. I had come out for a month. I'd rented a place. I had just hired Naomi Odenkirk, who's my manager, and I was taking some meetings and meeting some people, and was going to get an agent in Los Angeles, so that whether I stayed in Chicago or not, I would have an agent out there.
Yep.
And I was living in LA when the show premiered, and I was like, oh, okay, I need to move out. I was like, this is a really big deal. Like, this is not
Yeah.
going to peter out. So my partner at the time and I, talked about it and decided to move. We moved out at the end of that year, at the end of 2014.
Very cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it
The
was kind of foisted upon me. But I will say, I mean, I was like, I'm not going to stay here. I'm eventually going to go back to Chicago. But I did learn, especially like over the pandemic, when it was just like me and the cat and the city, I learned to really love Los Angeles. And so now I have a home out here, and I'll be here for a while, I think.
That's cool. That's
Yeah.
cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy how some energies that you're like, "Yeah, I don't know," and then you experience them in a different way, and it just kinda grows on you, and
It took
it's
time, I think. I still love Chicago. Chicago's my favorite city.
yeah.
Um, but this is where my work is. It just never, until St. Denis, I never got to a point where I was like, it's safe for me to live elsewhere. I was just like, I gotta keep taking meetings. Like, I have to keep booking. I have to stay here and keep booking.
Yeah,
So
exactly. And now you've done, like, so many different things and, like, comedy, horror, drama, I mean, um what is your favorite what like what has been your favorite experience? I mean, I know it's hard to say since you've got a show that's running right now and everybody's like, "Oh, it's my new thing," right? But like
yeah,
I guess we'll set that aside for now. Not counting
not
the
counting
current
St. Denis.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
What has been your favorite uh is there a moment or a show that's or something, a project that has
Hmm.
just been like, "Oh, that was a really neat experience." That just really
Yeah.
took you by surprise maybe?
I mean, a couple, I think. I'm trying to think about the movies. I haven't done a movie in a while. I think for me, I mean, each experience is its own special thing, and that is one of the great things about doing anthologies and doing movies, is that you're like, this is a finite thing. It'll be done at this time, and so you really like appreciate it while you're doing it.
Yeah.
And when you're on location, you're also like at summer camp, so you're like, this is a finite time that I'm going to be away from home doing this thing with these people, and it is really unique and really special. Um, but since the pandemic, I've worked mainly at home. I've worked mainly in Los Angeles, which was not the case before that. I was always in Atlanta, and I was in, Canada, like whatever. And I really do like working at home and being able to come back to my own
Yeah.
bed at night.
Mm.
Uh, and part of that, I think, is like doing Why Women Kill was really special. It was really challenging. It was like a different, like, heightened acting style. The costumes were insane and gorgeous, and
Yep.
sometimes painful, like laced into things. But that was really special, just like visually and stylistically, I think.
Mhm.
And then shortly after that, I did Gaslit, which was with Julia Roberts and Sean Penn. And I had a small enough role in that where I got to kind of like sit back and relax, and not, it wasn't like Fargo where I was like, it's Billy Bob Thornton. Also, I don't know what a mark is. Like, I don't know how to do this. I didn't know how to do anything.
Right.
I couldn't, there was like, no, it was impossible to take in the experience because I was like learning as I went. But with Gaslit, I got to be, wasn't there every day. I was just there sometimes. And I got to be like, this is a huge set. This is a huge project. That's Julia Roberts. Like, that's America's sweetheart, you know?
Right.
So that was pretty special as well.
That's cool.
Yeah.
If there was, is there any type of project or style of anything that that you would like to do that you have not had a chance to yet?
That's a great question. Before I would have said mockumentary, and now I'm getting to make a mockumentary, which is awesome. But I've always wanted to do mockumentary style, and just really love it. I would probably do another horror film, and my team is always looking for horror films for me because I love horror. That's, you know, but Krampus and The Gift are kind of the only like horrors and thrillers that I've done. So I would do another one of those. And I'm always looking to play a villain away from my regular day job. I'm always looking to play like the bad guy because it's super fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's, I mean, that would be something that would really turn my head. I think would be someone who turns out to be the bad guy is always a dream, you know?
Yeah. Okay, so if that being the case, would you want to be the bad guy in a horror movie?
Yeah, I think being the reveal of the twist would be super fun
Yeah.
in a horror movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, those moments when you're watching and you're like, wait. It
Yeah.
would be so cool to be part of one of those, I think, you know? It would be rad.
Yeah. Was you know, with being a lover of horror movies, was there anything that was different about making them that you didn't really like when you like as you're watching them, you have one impression and then you go in and you actually go to make it and it's like, oh, that's a little different than I was expecting.
I'm not sure what I expected, but did I do The Gift before Fargo? No, I think I did Fargo before The Gift. I mean, The Gift just felt like a drama that I was making. It didn't necessarily feel like a thriller. But Krampus, because Michael Dougherty used practical effects, and because he is such a big kid, I don't know if you know Mike or not, because he's such a big kid, he really designed an experience for us where we could be as surprised, if not horrified, as surprised as possible while filming. And
Okay.
so we didn't see any of the like puppetry or any of the creature work before we went to go shoot the first thing with them. Like he would be
Ooh.
rolling on the first time we saw the giant, you know, clown Jack in the Box, like writhing, having eaten part of a child, you know.
Right.
And I don't know if that's the take we used, but he wanted it on camera. You know what I mean? And anytime we were doing something where the whole group was like, quiet, there's something outside, he would just keep the camera rolling, and he himself would like sneak around the set with like two boards and like smack them together, and you wouldn't know where he was going to be, so that our jumps would be real, you know.
Yep.
So that is that, and I love horror and I love horror movies, but I don't like haunted houses because I don't really want things to be like physically near me. Like,
Interesting.
I don't like it. All my friends are like, we're going to Halloween Horror Nights this year, and I'm like, I don't want them to come towards me with a chainsaw. I just don't like it. I don't know. But that was like such a close experience to that, I think, because it's genuinely startling, you know. And the just the energy that's in the air when like 6 adults and 4 children are all sort of holding their breath and waiting to see like where the thing is on the roof. There's just like this natural energy to it that is the anticipation is really scary, you know. So that was a really cool experience, and due mainly to, I think, Mike and his like I said, he's just a kid at heart. So he really wanted to just like have the most fun possible and also capture it on camera, you know?
That's cool.
Yeah.
So now when you're watching horror movies, do you find them scary when you're watching them?
Some, yeah. I find them
Okay.
all enjoyable. One of the things I love about horror is that like you can watch a bad horror movie and have just as much fun. But
Yeah.
if I watch a bad drama, I'm like, oh my God, kill me. Like I don't, you know, or a bad comedy. Blech. But
Yeah.
like, you know, like that's not fun. But
Yeah.
a horror movie that has not come together in the way that they might have hoped, or is not constructed well, or the script isn't
Right.
great, like those are so fun.
Yeah.
So I just enjoy watching all of them. But every now and then one, yeah, really breaks through, and I'm like, uh-oh. I'm like, I
Yeah.
might have a nightmare tonight, you know?
Oh my gosh. So
Usually
yeah.
not, but every now and then I'm like, I can feel it happening while I'm watching it. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
interesting,
That
you
one's
know?
gonna stick with you,
That
right?
one's gonna stick with me. Yeah.
That's awesome. It's funny when you were saying when it's a when it's a bad drama, you're like, oh, kill me. You know, it's one of those things. My first thought was, you know, what would make this scene better? Jason Voorhees.
Exactly. Throw him in the
Just
mix.
slaughter them all.
Throw him in the mix.
Yeah, slaughter them all and start with a new cast of people. It's like, oh, you know, it's a pump fake. That's not the real people. Here's the real people over here.
Exactly. Hold on, let me pick this cat up and have him say
Sure.
hello. Come here,
Yeah.
Bubba. Come say hi. This is Bud.
Aw.
He has been yelling in the background for this entire time.
Yeah.
There we go,
Given
baby.
given his answer contributions, that's all good.
Exactly. Okay, you're okay. We'll go
Yeah.
outside later.
Yeah.
I bought a house with a yard and I now let him go out in the yard. I go with him and so he can
Oh
like sniff
wow.
around. And the problem is that now every morning when he's ready, he's like, it's
Oh yeah.
time. It's time now.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's not. I'm
Oh,
doing something.
right? Yeah, exactly. Oh, just nothing's more he's like, nothing's more important than me. I mean,
What
come on.
could be more important than me? Like I'm your whole job.
Exactly. You exist from my whim. Yeah, yeah, that
Uh,
kind of
okay. Do you
that's
want to sit in
great.
my lap? There you go, Bubs.
Uh,
Okay, sorry.
yeah. No, it's fine.
He was just
Uh,
within grabbing distance finally, and I was like, I need to hold him and say, chill
yeah.
out, dude. Dude,
Yeah. Well, he's beautiful.
thank
So,
you.
yeah. The so then is it scarier making horror as opposed to watching it, do you think? Or
Oh no, definitely watching is
definitely
scarier.
watching. Okay. Yeah.
Making a horror film it's like anything else. It's like, are sex
Yeah.
scenes really sexy while you're doing them? No.
No, you're right.
You
No.
know, and the only things that that gave that experience to Krampus was, you know, the extra time that Mike took, the extra
Yeah.
pains he took, and honestly having practical effects because it's much
Yeah.
easier to look disgusted when you're looking at a disgusting thing. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Totally.
Than it is to like you're looking at artwork and you're like imagining what it is, and then they're gonna CGI it all in later, you know, and
Yeah.
you can actually just react in real time, you know.
Totally.
So he did us a lot of favors in that way, but mostly it's just like and cut. It's hard to be like have a I'm scared experience when there's cameras and there's a boom guy,
Right.
and you know just beyond that is like the crafty table and there's snacks. You know what I mean? So definitely
Totally.
watching is
Yeah.
a much more like cultivated experience. You know?
Okay. I had to ask just because you said that you weren't as keen on like haunted houses and things like that. So when you were talking about things
Yeah.
being near you in person, I was like, oh, well, okay. Does that mean does that correlate with 'cause
No.
yeah,
You know what it is, honestly, Jamie? I think I have such a low tolerance for embarrassment. This is something I need to work on, like as I continue into my 40s. I have a really low tolerance for it, which is bad. But that means that I don't mind like a controlled situation, you know.
right.
But being at the whim, especially of an actor who is like, this is how I'm spending my weekends. Like, I'm having
Right.
some fun. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, what are they gonna do to me? You know, like no one's who's in charge. It's like this like
Right.
little kid part of me that's like, who's in charge of this? Like, who's gonna make sure that we all abide by the social contract? Are they gonna
Right.
make fun of me? Are they gonna laugh at me? Are they gonna
Right.
like make me cry? And then I'm gonna look
Right.
like a fool. You know what I mean? Like these are the things that go through my brain, which is kind of insane. But
No, it's
that is the
totally
case.
I totally understand. Like for a very long time I was like that, and then we went to Halloween Horror Nights, and I don't know, I um I enjoy, well, as we were talking about before, you know, me with all my crazy costumes and things like that. Like after seeing some of these things and how they work and getting more into makeup and all that kind of stuff, and you know, the like I wear more makeup than my wife does, and you know, but it became, I'm so fascinated by the technical
Yeah.
aspects of everything.
Yeah.
So they'll jump scare me and I'm like, "Oh, wow. Oh, cool. The lines. The lines are awesome." And I'm probably the worst person for a Halloween, for like a Halloween Horror Nights, like
You're
scare.
unscarable.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Like, it's like, and you know, she's like, "Oh my God. Oh my God." It's like, wow, look at that. You know, like, and honestly, it was something that uh I had that as a little kid.
Uh-huh.
And then then there was a time when I just didn't want to go and do any. I was exactly the same. I did not want to go to a haunted house at all. And
Yeah.
then now I'm so fascinated by the technical aspects of it. And so I just kind of like trained that flip in my brain
Yeah.
to be go in as the tech nerd. Go in as
Yeah.
the, you know, so if you find yourself drugged to one of these things, try that and maybe
I
that'll,
will, I do need to. People have tried to drag me, and I miss out every year. I'm like, no, but I
yeah.
do feel like I'm missing out on something. Especially, somebody works at Universal. That's me. I
Yeah.
probably could be like, "Oi, can I just meet a bunch of your performers ahead of time?
Right?
Can I just meet them? Say, oh, you're real."
Mhm.
I remember watching The Descent on DVD, which is one of my favorite horror films. I love The Descent, and watching it, that was one that really scared me when I
Yeah.
first saw it. And it was before I had cable, and so I just rented things from like the library and watched them, and then watched all of the extra material so I'd have things to watch because I didn't have any money. And The Descent, I remember so distinctly watching the behind the scenes, like the bloopers of the guys in the suits, but like dancing to Mick Jagger and like being
Yep.
so goofy. And it really demystified it for me, like
Yeah.
in a great way, because I was like, this movie really scary. And then I watched that and I was like, oh, it's not so bad. Look at them. They're just, look at that goofy guy.
Yep.
So, yeah, you're right. I mean, I do, like you said, I think that part of you that, like, for those years when you were a kid didn't want to do it. I never left that. I never left that mind frame. I'm
Right.
still where I'm like, oh, I don't want it. Ew.
Yeah. Yeah,
But I'm
yeah,
43. I should probably, I should probably try to actively move past that.
yeah.
You know?
Uh, it's you know, everybody's got their own kind of vibe with everything, right? You just,
Yeah.
yeah. See,
That's
the
exactly
descent
right.
makes non-claustrophobic people
Yes.
claustrophobic, right?
Yes. It's so true, Steven. And I will always say that, like, one of the best things about one of the reasons why The Descent is one of my favorites is because I like a home invasion story. Now that I'm in a house, I'm like, oh no, thank you. But The
Right?
Descent is so safe because I'm never gonna accidentally find myself spelunking. Like, I'm good. I'm okay. Like, I can be safely scared and not
Right.
be like, not take it home with me. But
Yeah.
I moved into this house and I started reading a book called Night Watching a few weeks ago,
Mm.
which is about home invasion. It's wonderful. It's very scary. And I got like 4 pages in before I was like, well, I need to wait until I have my home security system set up to read that because it was too scary. It was like I read it with different eyes and I was like, nope,
Right?
fully no, absolutely not. So I got my system set up and then I finished reading the book. I was just like, that is not cute right now,
Right. Yeah. It is wild how much like frames of reference can,
So much.
and
Like, I
that's
have friends who loved horror and then had kids and went off horror.
right.
They were like, "I can't watch it anymore,"
Right.
because I think they then had this investment in an outside entity that they had, like, never experienced before, and they were like, "I don't wanna think about the terrible things that could happen." Like, absolutely not, you know?
Exactly.
So
Well, it's it's sort of the equivalent of, I didn't really look at architecture much
mhm,
or renovation stuff
mhm.
until we got our house.
Yeah,
And then everything was like, "Oh, they
and
did
suddenly
this
you're
in the
an
walls,"
expert in
and
all this stuff.
yeah,
Yeah,
I'm looking at the sconces, and I'm looking at all of this. It's like, "Ooh, I like that. I like that. I like that. Ooh, I don't like that." It's like
yeah.
that kind of, yeah, you don't even like, it's not even in your periphery. And then it's like, wow, I never noticed there's so much. Like, because your mind is just like, oh man, that's a thing that's there,
Yeah.
but then
No, yeah.
when your frame of reference changes, it's like, oh, okay, I see things
Absolutely.
now. And
Absolutely.
this is my mixing and vocal booth studio that I've
Mhm.
put nerdage in front of. And like the foam panels and things, like you don't think about that until it's like, oh, okay, I'm tired of giving a studio my money. I can just do this
Mhm.
myself. And because
Yeah.
because now you mentioned voiceover work. Do you have like a studio in your house, or?
I don't do much voiceover anymore. I wish that I would love to find a gig that was like a recurring role I could like keep going back to or something, because I love voiceover. Um, but yeah, I don't. When I first started looking at houses, every like random closet and like little weird nook space, I was like, this is the voiceover booth, you know?
Yeah.
But the fact is, I haven't even auditioned for a voiceover in probably 8 months or something. Okay, hi. Um, you can't get inside of my mouth, so I think you need to accept as close as we are, being as close as
Right,
you're gonna get.
gonna give it a
Um,
college try.
he's a little clingy. He's one of those clingy boy cats.
Yeah, that's all good.
Um, anyway, so yeah, I would love to have a reason to turn a closet into like a little voiceover booth, but it's another industry. I mean, it's another area of the industry that's really hard to break into. I did a lot of voiceover in Dallas and a little bit in Chicago, but it has not transferred. It has not translated over to Los Angeles. It's like much harder to break into. So every
Yeah.
now and then I audition for a show and I keep hoping one of those will hit and I'll have my, you know, Bob's Burgers that I can like do on the side, because that would be so fun, you know?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, I haven't done any voiceover as far as that stuff. All mine is like a lot of Christmas products. Like
Ooh.
you go in there as like I did a lot of work for Elvis Presley Enterprises. So when you would go into Lowe's and
Mm.
you would hear it sing, it was usually my voice you were hearing.
Oh, wow,
So
funny.
yeah, so
Yeah.
that's always a so okay. So
Yeah.
let's talk a little bit about St. Denis Medical.
Okay.
Um, what has that experience been like? Because you said you've always wanted to do a mockumentary, and
Yeah.
now you know.
I just got so lucky. The time between me like knowing that this show, like project existed, and getting the job was like a week, because a friend of mine was like, I'm auditioning for this show. You would be great for it. Have you read it yet? And I was like, no. So I reached out to my team and was like, what's going on? And they were like, well, they just cast Wyndham McLean Covey in the lead role, and we don't think that there's another role for you. And I was like, okay. And then they called me back 2 days later and they were like, okay, never mind. There's a role open for a nurse and they would like to meet with you for it. And I was like, great. So I met with the guys. Loved the script, really loved the script. Met with the guys and got the job, I think, the next day, and was so relieved and so thankful. This was like um, right before the strikes were about
Yeah.
to happen. Um, so I really was like looking for some work, and I hadn't worked that year at all. I don't think I didn't work at all in 2022. Like I worked like 2 days or something. I was having a real dry spell and
Yeah.
really felt like I needed a job. So I just got really lucky. And then, the cast, we all met for the first time at our first table read and just like hit it off. Um, we're actually pretty close and really enjoy each other. I know everybody says that, but we really do have we have a pretty happy cast. And then the crew has been together, many of them with, Justin Spitzer and Eric Legend, since Superstore.
Yeah.
So this crew has known each other for a decade, and it's like a well-oiled machine. So it's the happiest set. Like everyone is really thankful to be there. We're all aware that a lot of people are not working right now. And the fact that
Yeah.
we have a pretty stable job for several months of the year and we're not traveling is not lost on us. So we're a very grateful, very happy set.
That's
Um,
cool.
yeah, it is cool. I'm having the most fun. I mean, I just love, you know, Alex, my character is kind of like the Jim Halpert of St. Denis, where there's just a lot of like looks to camera about like what are these idiots doing, which
Yeah.
which I find really fun. Like,
Yeah.
Wendy always says like that, in most comedies the jokes are on the page, But then in mockumentaries, the jokes are often like where you put them, what you react to, and where you slip them in. And it's really fun to find those other moments.
Yeah.
I'm always looking for a camera to give them what my opinion is on whatever's happening, and whether they use it or not. It just keeps you
Right.
really engaged, so it's super fun.
That's cool.
Yeah.
There, is there a particular moment from filming that stands out for just either a fun actually, let's just start with a favorite moment from
Okay.
filming, and then I'll kind of
Let's see. I think my favorite movie from filming season 1, the one I remember most viscerally, is there's a monologue at the end of the first season that is like really quite serious. And our show, our writers do a great job of having a lot of hijinks, but I think in every episode there's a moment of like really sort of heartfelt warmth,
yeah.
And in the season finale last year, I got to do that talking head, which is like a monologue, about how nobody can do everything, but like Alex feels like her superpower is that she shows up and she tries every day. And I just found that so emotional. It was a beautifully written monologue that Eric Legend wrote. And just in my experience with medical professionals, and certainly like with people that we met along the way as we were putting together St. Denis, our med techs, and the special screenings that we got to do for nurses and administrators and doctors and things, I just really felt like that is an invaluable superpower. The fact that these people, through COVID, through all the things that they've had to put up with, and a pretty staunch like anti-science standpoint from our government right now.
Right.
I just think it is like such a miracle, and we're all so lucky that these people could continue showing up. So that monologue felt really special and really prescient, and I was really glad I got to do it.
That's awesome. So
Yeah.
how have medical folks responded to the show?
They love it. We did do a screening and in person. It was just really incredible to get the feedback in person from people. I've got a couple doctors in my family, and they pulled me aside at Thanksgiving and were like, "Do you realize this is exactly what it's like? This is exactly it."
That's awesome.
It was awesome. It was great feedback to get. They're like, "It really is that dumb sometimes." I was like, "Oh, great, good." And then, of course, because we have social media, we get to interact with people on social media, and the number of like nurses and doctors and techs and just like other professionals who come along and say, "We just love this show. This is what it really feels like." That's like this is what it really feels like is such an awesome compliment, and they're like, it's not Grey's Anatomy. We're not, first of all, there's not that many doctors at once. It's almost always all nurses, and you guys have more nurses than doctors, and we appreciate that. But like, we don't have drama of the week. Like we have, bad things happen, good things happen, and also like where are we ordering lunch, and they really feel like that we're able to capture that, and that's a huge compliment,
Yeah.
How about working with David Alan Grier?
Yeah.
Dag is a legend for a reason, like he is. He's just been doing comedy for so long, and stand up and shows and films and the things that he's done. So he's a legend. He's like our elder statesman, and he's just as funny as ever.
That's cool.
Yeah. And we call him Dag, by the way. That's what we call him. Instead of David Alan Grier, we call him Dag.
That's awesome. So now I remember seeing in interviews that you were saying that there's not a whole lot of improv because a lot of it's on the page.
Did I say that? We do a lot of improvising.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We do a lot of improvising. It might not all make it to air. Maybe that's what I was saying.
Okay.
I mean, the jokes are tight, and we always will do, we do a pass that's completely on book. Sometimes the writers have some alts that they want us to do, like instead of that last line, switch out this last line. And then they always let us, improvise.
Oh, cool. Okay.
We do a lot of improvising. Yeah. It might end up on the cutting room floor because we've only got, 22 minutes to.
Right.
Improvising has to be really short when you've only got 22 minutes to cut together.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And what's great about that is that it kind of calls back to the Second City stuff. So, you know, you've got that in your back pocket
Well,
to
so
pull
many
from.
of us, are, Mecky's a stand-up, and David obviously has done a lot of improv and a lot of stand-up and in Living Color. So a lot of us have that experience, And Wendy did the Groundlings. Wendy is like,
Oh yeah.
I can't imagine anybody else leading this show. Like, she's like the queen of this because of, Reno 911. Like, she's done this exact style so well for so long,
Yeah. Yeah. That's yeah, it's fun, and but like you said, it has heartfelt moments too. It's got everything, which is just it's beautiful. That's just
Thank
really
you. Yeah, we're really proud of it. We are.
Yeah, that's cool. And you were talking about, this kind of leads into I'm going to try and find something a little happier after this, but
Okay.
this leads into, as you were talking about, there was a lot of folks that are not working and a lot of craziness that is going on. I don't know if you have seen there's Tilly Norwood, I believe.
I did see this.
And I'm like, why? I have yet to see, other than short snippets of like little AI, like 1-2 punchline things, to where I would not be able to tell that it's. Other than that, you can absolutely tell when it's not a real person, because the connective tissue is different. Like, it's I'm and apparently there are talent scouts that are circling about this, or studios.
I just saw this headline yesterday, and I was like looking for a clip of her. Like, I was looking for her reel.
I did exactly this.
I was like, what do you mean? Like, is she any good? I thought,
right. Yeah.
It's so odd, and it is really insulting to call her an AI actress. Like,
right.
That's not. I'm an actress.
It's programming. Yeah.
She's not an actress. Like,
no,
that's
exactly.
not a term that you can just like throw around to
yeah,
entities. You know what I mean? Like, no, thank you.
Yeah.
Like, we don't call, like, digital assistants AI executives. Like, that's would be insane. You know what I mean? Like, an executive is a job that a person does.
It's
so yeah, I don't know. I mean, the AI thing is, I was a strike captain during the strike, and was involved with it pretty heavily, and I signed off on the deal that we had because I felt that it was time to get back to work, and I felt that it would have been impossible for us to put all the protections in place that we needed, because we didn't even know. I felt we didn't even know totally what the enemy was yet. It's just like
true.
They didn't know what streaming was yet. They didn't know what they had to put protections in place for.
Yep. Well, and it's changing so much. Like, because like we've done, just full disclosure, I've got a YouTube channel that I'm just getting kicked off called Jack Life. It's all about pop culture, hence, most of the videos are about Twilight, because it doesn't.
I know where your bread is buttered. You know what to do.
I'm a massive. We have about 20 costumes screen worn from the Twilight films, and all of Robert Pattinson's clothes fit me like they were made for me. So I make jokes about having been in Robert Pattinson's pants, but we're not going to talk about that. But I also have EAP Society, which is all about Elvis Presley history preservation and things like that. And one of the things that we did is we completed a song that Elvis had started in 1969, and we used AI, but it's my voice. It's actually a human did something, and then we applied the vocal textures and all this. But that is the only way that I can see anything like that having a practical application, because, like, if it's just a computer doesn't know. Like
Yeah.
half the time when you ask it something, if you ask it trivia on Google AI, half the time it gets it completely wrong. And we're
Yeah.
trying to tell it to show emotion. Like
No.
that doesn't even like
To me, it's like they told us, years ago when Shrek came out, they were like, this is the future. This is going to be, actors are going to be obsolete,
yeah.
And I was like, I'm sorry, Princess Fiona's face is what we're worried about. You're worried that is gonna, what are you talking about?
Right.
Like, granted, things have gotten a lot better. I do feel like the better it gets, though, the keener our eyes get and the more we're able to be like, that's not real.
Yep.
And I think that they're banking that people genuinely will find it indistinguishable. I'm going to find projects that were completely AI generated, indistinguishable from other television and films. And I don't feel that that's possible. Even if they couldn't put their finger on it, I believe that audiences would be like, yeah.
Something, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
something just, I 100% know what you mean.
It's just because it is like, it's uncanny valley. Like, it's just off.
Yeah.
And whether or not you're like, you understand the craft or participated in it, or you're just a consumer, I have to believe that you would be like, this doesn't affect me the way that these moments are supposed to affect me. It's not as funny as it should be, because that connection, that timing is human, and it can't be replicated.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, there was a really great video that if you ever get a chance to watch, I think it might even be helpful if strikes have to happen again. There's a video that there was a scene from Meet Joe Black that the guy had AI do it, and then they had different levels of experience actors. And they kind of broke down, okay, this is how this person approached it, and this is how they approached it. And they compared that. They showed the AI first, and then they showed the different actors and say, okay, this actor is doing this to play off of this and this and this. And this is why, and the AI does not do that because it doesn't have that, it hasn't been told that or whatever else.
Yeah.
And it was fascinating. And I think the more information that goes like that, I think that's going to really make a difference in, kind of like you said, as it gets better, we kind of like progress along with it. Will there be some people that'll be like, I don't care, I'm just eating popcorn and drinking myself to sleep or whatever. And but it's like I'm gonna Pepsi crash out, and that's gonna be my night. But like but I really, and the thing that I always think of is, because you get so many people like, oh, well, that's the way, but people don't understand that this kind of stuff is coming for every industry and every level of every industry. The first AI CEO that shows up is going to scare Wall Street into like wetting itself. Like, and I think what I see happening is, if they keep going down this road, I could see a lot of real industry, like true, like I love the industry type people getting together and going more independent and finding alternative ways of, because if everybody's job has gone to AI, where do they think their money's going to come from?
Yeah.
And I'm amazed that they don't see this.
It's hard to like take the temperature and see where we're headed, but I don't know. In our industry, I just feel like, and listen, you can't stop progress.
No, I completely agree.
There are going to be aspects of our industry that are going to be changed forever. I think that they will get good enough at AI that we have a lot less background actors. I think we will. And that is not great for those people who that is how they make their living or part of their living. But
or even how they build into getting further into the industry as well, because
100%.
Like they're apparently in legal, that they're like the lower legal positions are being taken over by AI. And I'm just thinking, well, if that's how they get to the higher rungs, what are they going to do after
How are they
about
going to do it? Yeah.
in 15 years? Are all of the firms just going to be toast? Like how?
Yeah.
It's
There's not a lot of
yeah.
foresight. It feels like it's
That's
like,
that's it. Yeah. Well,
not a lot of foresight.
well, because Wall Street is used to looking at the next 4 weeks or the next 4 months, not the next 4 years. And eventually those chickens come home to roost and they're going, oh, we didn't think about
100%.
that.
And so many of our
yeah.
entertainment companies now are like part of a tech conglomerate who are like, we should do it because we can. We have the technology and it's cool.
Right.
And it's
Yeah.
like, well, but is that what people want? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's
I
like
keep thinking about that Jurassic Park line. We thought
we're
about
so
that we
busy
could.
figuring out if we could. We didn't stop to think about whether or not we should.
Thank you. Thank
100%.
yeah. That's
100%.
yeah. And
I don't know. I guess we just have to wait and see, and we'll figure out what we need to do and what protections need to be in place. But you know, like when taxi drivers were upset when Uber came along, and I understand why they were, because their livelihood changed forever. But there was just no stopping it. And so I mean, it's like coal, you know, we don't use coal anymore. We're not going back to coal. We have other forms of energy, you know, but you can't stop. You just can't stop progress. You can't. You have to like adapt and go with the flow. But I don't think that all acting gigs are going to be done by computers. That seems insane.
That would be incredibly silly. But I before we go, I just want to say thank you so much. I really enjoyed it. Sorry for ending this on. I'm gonna uptick the conversation just for the very tail end of this, and I apologize for the downer ender. What is the premiere date? Is it November 3rd?
For season 2, November 3rd is the season 2 premiere date for St. Denis Medical. Please tune in. You can watch season 1 on Peacock if you have it, which you should.
Yeah.
You know, talk about our tech overlords. But yes, you can watch the first season on Peacock, and season 2 starts November 3rd.
Very cool. Yeah. Peacock's been fun. It's been a nice.
It is. There's good stuff there.
Yep. I think that's I think they've even got some of the old like Garfield and Friends
that sounds right. Yeah.
So Allison, has been an absolute joy. Thank you for taking the time, and thank you for helping us raise money for Options Save Lives.
Absolutely. Thank you guys who are watching and listening for donating.
Otherworldly Fundraising is a group of friends who decided to use our nerdy talents to help others. Our charity this year is Options Save Lives, which helps individuals fully recover from alcohol use disorder. Thank you for joining us this weekend and for donating to this worthy charity.